Welcome to another SkaredCast campaign battle report. Stay tuned, for this one is a big one. Welcome to another SkaredCast battle report. We're playing 4,000 points of Space Marines versus 4,000 points of Dark Eldar and Eldar. This is a modified Maelstrom mission, so we're playing a Mega Maelstrom. There are 12 objectives, all numbered. 2 1s, 2 2s, 2 3s, 2 4s, 2 5s, 2 6s. And the whole point is to gain more points. This represents a mission in a campaign we're playing locally, and the Dark Eldar breaching the walls of a space hive, so the Space Marines have to advance. So these are the objectives. It's going to get pretty hectic, so make sure you enjoy it. It's all designed to be very themed. So, as you can see, we enter the game when the Dark Eldar are already breaching through the walls. The bastions are just derelict, they don't count, they're just impassable terrain. The Raven Guard have infiltrated some units to advanced positions to try and hold back the assault, while there's quite a few in reserve. A couple of drop pods, Terminators, assault squads in reserve. The Iron Hands, of course, decked out and kitted out to the nine. There is a second table to this mission. It is the high ground. The high ground here with the Thunderfire cannons and the heavy artillery that is focusing on the main battlefield. There's a mini 700-point game going on here to determine the outcome to silence the Thunderfire cannons that will be blasting the main table. Let's get started. The battle started off with the Eldar flanking the high hill ground, knocking out the Predator with hull point fire. The Farseer made the little unit of Guardians invisible, and they're moving up at full speed, aided by a unit of infiltrating Mandrakes, while the Eldar jet bikes boosted to capture Objective 3, which was one of the objectives. In the main battle, we had the Dark Eldar force that breached through the walls, move up at full speed. The combined fire from lots of liquefy guns and splinter cannon fire took down almost all the Devastators that had infiltrated into the fuel ammunition dump. Witches and Grotesques move up into the center of the board, and the Archon Warlord has activated a webway portal, waiting for his reserves to arrive, while both Ravagers are here, expecting to do some damage on the Raider next turn, and the Blasterborn in this Venom moving up. Casualties saw one of the Vanguard veterans go down to Venom fire. All the Stern Guard that had infiltrated too close to the Witches and a court of the Archon are now dead. The Warlord Librarian is left alive, while the Vanguard veterans are coming to try and get them out of combat. And on the far flank, all the Eldar forces moved up to target the infiltrating scouts on the high ground. So, 3 points to 0, and it is now Imperial, turn 1. In this flank, the Thunderfires from the high ground opened fire, blasted, killing a Homunculus, and forcing the large unit of Cabalite Warriors to fall back from the position of the Space Marine scouts. The Vanguard veterans jumped over the big wall and failed their charge, even with a reroll, while the Archon with the Venom Blade murdered the Warlord Librarian in a challenge. In other shooting, the other Thunderfire cannon blasted and wounded the Incubi 12 times, but their power armor, or their Incubi suits, saved them from the damage. And in other shooting, we have a hull point on the Grotesque Raider on this flank, and we have a hull point on the Rack Raider in the far corner there, and a hull point glance on the Ravager, the main table. Turn 2 is starting now. And in the side table, a drop pod screams down to provide support for the Space Marine army. Lots of shooting sees 2 hull points and can only snap shoot on the Night Spinner, while nothing else happens on this flank as the Predator support has been neutralized. And at the end of the turn, the Imperial side has secured Objective 3, which is where? Which is the wall battlements, and then we have secure Objective 1, that is the drop pod on the far corner, and secure Objective 6, which is the power generator. So right now, the score is 3 points to 3 points after turn 1. And in reserves, we have a Razorwing jet fighter that arrives. We have 2 units of Reaver jet bikes. One arrives, and I'm going to use my Warlord trait to re-roll. They both arrive, and the Scourge arrive. The Eldar have maneuvered around the defending force on the high hill. The Farseer Psychic shrieked and terrified a unit that was by the quad gun, allowing the Eldar jet bikes to capture Objective 2, which was an objective. 2 Mandrakes survived a wall of flame and are tying up the second Thunderfire cannon, while the first Thunderfire cannon was destroyed by the large unit of Guardians on this table flank. On the main table, the Dark Eldar reserves arrived in force, and a full attack has happened across the battle line. 1 Devastator survived, luckily, with all the firepower that was put against him, while a lucky lance shot from a Ravager blew up the Land Raider that was here, and so all the shooting has killed the Forge Father and all the Assault Marines inside, while in the back here the Reavers did nothing to the Terminators. The Reaver jet bikes did move in, and the Razorwing jet fighter blasted the unit on the battlements, combined venom fire, leaving 4 models left alive, while the Witches failed their charge against the Vanguard veterans, and the Court of the Archon is stuck in combat, losing 3 of their number to the Lightning Claws. The Kabalite warriors continue to fall back, and the Wracks failed their charge against the Space Marine scouts in the scouting tower, and the Hellions in the back have captured Objective 6, adding another 2 points to the Dark Eldar advance. The score is now 5 points to 3 tactical points, and there are some reserves to arrive. We have an Imperial Guard contingent of about 1,000 points that is arriving to help the beleaguered defenders of the Hive City. So we'll roll for reserves.
Okay. Veterans, Carpus Armor, 3 Meltas, Autocannon Chimera. In.
Arrive.
Same thing, but 3 Flamers.
Arrive.
Same thing, but 2 Grenade Launchers. Nope.
Nope.
Manticore.
Yep.
Vendetta.
Yep.
And Company Command Squad and a Chimera.
Yep. So the Imperial Guard forces have arrived. The Iron Hands have some reserves as well.
Legion of the Damned and Stern Guard.
Awesome. And the Raven Guard have some reserves as well.
Jump packs. Nope. No, staying away. Terminators also staying away.
So the Raven Guard have decided to hold off. And, oh right, some scouts in a land speeder storm. So there's a lot of reserves showing up. This game could turn interesting. End of Imperial turn 2. The Imperial Guard have pushed up hard on the Dark Eldar flank, almost wiping out all the Wracks. The Vendetta came in hot and missed the Razorwing, even though it forced it to jink. And although a Skyfire rocket launcher has put a hull point on it and blown off one of its lances. In shooting, the Witches only took 1 casualty. The Archon is now alone, fighting the Vanguard veterans, and some scouts moved in land speeder storm and killed 2 of the Kabalite Trueborn with blasters, while screaming into the crater of the no longer their Land Raider, a Stern Guard unit full with the Gorgon Chain captain blasted into the Witches and murdered all of them, while these Terminators killed the last of the Reaver jet bikes that were back here. And the Manticore, another Chimera that moved in, shot and killed 1 of the Grotesques. On this table, the Legion of the Damned used the teleport homer to move in, fire a lot into the Guardians, and kill lots of them. The Tech Marine finally killed the 2 remaining Mandrakes, and these Marines killed 2 of the Eldar jet bikes. So, in turn 2, the Imperial side has gained 2 points. At the end of the turn, we have scored 2 more points for overwhelming firepower, killing an enemy unit in the shooting phase. And Assassinate. I killed 2 characters. I needed to get a 3rd one, but that didn't happen. I will be getting rid of Scour the Skies, because I don't want to have to focus on that Vendetta. And what happened? The warriors finally rallied. I shot into the little unit of Imperial Guard. They ran off the board. I charged the scouts, who survived, fell back not far enough to fall off the table, and are going to rally next turn. In combat, I finally killed the Vanguard veterans with the Witches. Didn't do anything to the Marines on the parapet or the Vendetta. I did force this into jinking, and it is shaken this turn. Everything moved around and moved up. I killed the Devastator back there with the Talos right over there. In shooting, I did put a number on these Stern Guard. I killed almost all but two. I killed all but two. Didn't do anything to the Gorgon Chain Commander, and my Scourger falling back after getting beaten in combat. I was trying to hold them up for a turn while my Incubi and Archon charged in and tried to kill the Terminators for the last character that I needed killed. And other than that, on the other board, this side, we had the remainder of the Guardians shoot and kill one Marine. Nothing happened in that combat over there. The Farseer is charging in and holding up that Thunderfire Cannon, and the Eldar Jetbike is back there. So we'll be back right after. End of the game. The Dark Eldar forces pushed forward at full speed and felt the brunt of the Imperial Guard counterattack later in the game. This was a very fun mission. This is for our campaign that we're running, the War for Pantheon Prime. And the players in this campaign will be able to play a coordinated assault against one of the hive cities in the campaign. I'm going to do a little tactical corner with lots of little pictures and stuff. These games are just thematic for fun. There was a lot of fun things that happened, like Archon chewing through Terminators, and this board was the main board, of course. There was 7 tactical objectives achieved by the Dark Eldar and 5 by the Imperial side, but it went to turn 3 before we had to call the game. So it could have gone either way. So it was a lot of fun. And then on the hill, we had the Eldar forces taking a pounding against the forces of the Legion of the Damned that showed up to help at the last bit of the game. As well as, look at those guys, they look awesome. As well as a drop pod full of Marines that helped out, and they were slowly dwindling in numbers, trying to silence the guns. Okay, well, thanks a lot for watching. Check out the YouTube channel, of course, you're on this if you are. The podcast page, the Twitter feed, and, of course, the other channels. Thanks a lot for watching. I appreciate your comments. I hope you liked the eye candy of this painted report. Hello and welcome to another Tactical Corner. Well, not much of a tactical corner this time around, as the Dark Eldar book, as we know it, is going the way of the dodo. Therefore, this battle report is more a reminder of the old way to play the Dark Kin. We saw the use of Venom Blades on Archons. We saw a webway portal materialize as a piece of war gear that later brought reserves from a specific point on the battlefield. We saw witches with haywire grenades face off against different units on the battlefield. We saw mandrakes be absolutely horrible in the game itself. I personally am very excited about the next chapter that the Dark Kin will take on a tabletop near you. And it's up to you to make the battle and the game and the army what it can be. So, of course, watch the channel in future tactical corners. As a fledgling Archon, you will learn from my mistakes on the channel, from my victories and my defeats, and through the discussion with the community, you will be able to pick apart the things that work for you in the new book. The old Dark Eldar book has brought tears of sadness and laughter and happiness, and now it is time to open a new chapter into the realm of the Dark City. So, sit back, paint, watch and enjoy as we embark on the next chapter together.